And Rosemary is Chief Medical Officer for United Ag. She is a practicing physician with dual board certification in internal medicine and preventive medicine. Rosemary is passionate about overturning outdated paradigms of care and having populations achieve true health through lifestyle change. So Rosemary, take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm able to unmute myself. It's a pleasure to be joining you all today. As a physician, I'm constantly reminded by patients that it's nearly impossible to have good physical health without good mental health. And so I'm thrilled today to be able to share with you how we at United Ag were able to improve the mental health of our population, which has been historically very much underserved and difficult to engage. Next slide, please. Wonderful. You can go one more slide as well. Thank you. So first off, United Ag is a trade association health plan. We provide healthcare benefits specifically to employers in the agricultural industry, and our covered employees span all the way from farm workers in the field to management and business owners. In total, we're about 50,000 covered lives, including dependents, mostly concentrated in California and Arizona. And as I mentioned, our population is quite hard to reach, and that's for several reasons. First of all, about half of our membership is bilingual, with Spanish as their primary language. In addition, we're not the most tech-savvy population out there. Yes, a lot of us do have smartphones, but we have quite a few members who still only have flip phones. Also, the majority of our population doesn't have email or are unwilling to share their email addresses with us. And lastly, there's a huge stigma that we fight in our population around getting mental health care. And so they often actually wait until they're in crisis or beyond crisis before they even start thinking about seeking out care for their mental health issues. However, last year when the pandemic hit, followed closely by the California wildfires, in addition to all the social strife that we've experienced, we saw our mental health care needs skyrocket. Now, before the pandemic, if one of our members needed mental health services, they would go to find a provider in our provider network, or they would use our telehealth vendor. However, our utilization was very low. And so we knew that in order to address the mental health crisis that we were seeing, we needed a much more engaging and effective solution. In addition, we knew that if we didn't invest in mental health right away, that we were likely to see increased costs down the road. And those increased costs are not just in mental health expenditure, but also in physical health expenditure. As we can all appreciate, mental illness is really an important comorbid condition that makes taking care of other chronic conditions like diabetes and hypertension very difficult. So with that, we went to market and to find an additional mental health provider that really suited our needs. And we ultimately decided to work with Spring Health. That decision was basically made on two factors. The first was that we felt that their high level of service reflected our member-centric values and was a good extension of our brand image at United Ag. More importantly, we felt that their care navigator model was exactly how we envisioned how mental health care should be for our employees. And what I mean by that is that solving the access issue of making sure our members were paired with the right therapist or psychiatrist wasn't quite enough. we needed to go one step beyond that and have a wraparound service that also worked with members longitudinally throughout their mental health care journey to ensure that they are bought into their treatment plan and are actually getting better. And the care navigators offered by Spring Health did exactly that. And as a result, after launching Spring Health in June of last year, we actually saw 7 times the engagement in mental health as compared to our traditional telehealth vendor. And can move to the next slide, and I'll tell you exactly how we did that. Next slide, please. Thank you. So first of all, we conducted an extensive educational campaign. We did webinars for our covered members. We also held trainings throughout all levels of the organization, including our member services team, our service representatives who hold the relationship with our employer clients. And we also did trainings with our near-site clinic providers. So they knew that they could refer our members to Spring Health if they identified a mental health need. In addition, we also customized a service for our population. We had additional care navigators with bilingual capabilities and also who had shared cultural background with our members. I got a ton of positive feedback where people felt like they had immediate trust with their care navigator right from the beginning, just because of that shared cultural background. And so that was really important for us to build that type of trust. Also, all of our marketing materials, including our landing pages, were bilingual so that we could service our whole entire population without language being a barrier. And in addition, we worked with a third-party text messaging platform called Consejo Sano. They're absolutely fantastic. And what they did was culturally adapt our text messaging campaigns so that they didn't sound like spam text messages. They actually sounded like a friend who was checking in on you in language that they could understand. And so we had a wonderful engagement just by using those text campaigns. Lastly, we did throw in some Visa gift cards in there just to sweeten the pot for engagement. Next slide, please. So here you can see more detail in these bullet points on our engagement strategy that I just outlined, but I would love for you to focus on the numbers on the right hand of this slide. About 2/3 of our population who participated in the program showed improvements in depression and anxiety, and we were able to reclaim nearly 6 hours of lost productivity per member per week. This is incredibly exciting to us because not only were people feeling better, but they were also experiencing functional improvements as well. Now, these outcome metrics are pretty generalized, and depending on your business, you might want to dig into more specialized metrics. So for instance, if you have a business that's heavily focused on member care, such as caregiving, or you have a big customer service department, improving their mental health can actually improve the way that they empathize with your customers. And so tracking how your mental health service improves customer satisfaction could be an interesting metric. In addition, for those of you who are in more industrial companies, such as in manufacturing, or if you have a large population of truck drivers, improving mental health helps your employees stay safer at work. It minimizes emotional distractions. It can also improve sleep so that they are more sharp while they are at work. And so for those more industrial businesses, tracking your workplace injuries, accidents, or even workers' comp might be metrics that you want to focus on. So I encourage you broadly to think about how to analyze the results of your mental health strategy. Next slide, please. So in summary, our key learnings from our experience with our mental health strategy was that no size fits all with marketing. We had to really cater our marketing initiatives to the barriers in our population. And those were specifically language and culture. And in addition, the clinical results really did matter. It was really important for our team to be able to see that our members were reporting to be feeling better faster. Our members were feeling better within just a few sessions, even just 3 or 4 compared to the standard of 6 sessions. So we were really excited to see those improvements. We got overwhelmingly positive feedback, and this was probably one of the most successful initiatives we launched in the last several years. And in closing, I just want to leave you with one last thought. So over the last year, the prevalence of anxiety and depression have quadrupled. And that's staggering. So I think it's pretty clear to us that the mental health crisis will be the largest health crisis we face, not just this year, but also in the years to come if we don't do something about that right away. And so my hope for us as a community of forward-thinking employers is that we can invest in mental health right now. So to ensure that our employees and ultimately our businesses stay healthy in the long term. Judy, I don't know if we have any time for questions, so I leave that to you. I hope you can all stay safe and healthy, and I appreciate your time this morning.